guys today show you something a little bit different. We're in LA, we're at the North American Reptile Breeders Conference. We're going to show you around, see what you think. And these here are all king snakes?
Yeah, these are kings, and then there's these brown ones are the gopher snakes.
Yeah.
Then actually got
really cool.
this one's really pretty here.
For 30 bucks.
Well, we've got Chris Sharp here from Sharpshooter Reptiles here in California. Tell us what we've got here, Chris.
Well, Chris, we got a couple of cow kings here. You're holding an albino cow king, and I'm holding what they call a high white. Pretty obviously, it's high white. These are a snake we can find here in California, but you wouldn't find these mutations in the wild. This is stuff that's been captive bred. Obviously, the albino was found in the wild back in the early 80s, and it's been bred into a lot of stuff. And you can actually cross the two, and you get just a pure white snake. It's really, really pretty. And then just through selective breeding, normally they're black and white banded, and through selective breeding they bred the black out and just make this.
You get them lighter and lighter.
Yeah, lighter and lighter, and just a really, really clean white snake. It's really popular. They don't get real big. You know, three or 4 feet long. They're rodent eaters. They will eat snakes and fish and frogs and birds, they'll eat anything. But they, you know, in captivity, just feeding them rodents.
And they're a constrictor, aren't they?
Yeah, these are constrictor. Most of the captive stuff when they're babies, they'll just actually eat the prey alive. You feed them a pinky mouth, they'll just eat it alive. They won't even constrict it, which is pretty typical with a lot of the cow king stuff.
And you bred these yourself?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But tell us about your collection. How many species have you got?
I'm roughly about 150 animals total.
Yep.
And I work with, I don't know, 15 species of animals. Mostly the kings and milks. I do the ball pythons. I've got a pair of boas. I've got a few venomous things. But this
let's check out one of your ball pythons, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that.
All right, so these ball pythons, these are really cool. We don't have these in Australia.
Right. You guys have the stuff that we want.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pythons,
the carpets and the blackheads. Yeah. Like I've got a pair of womas, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be breeding them next year. But yeah, so these are ball pythons. It's the African species of snake. You're holding what they call a coral glow or a banana, and I've got now just a regular T-negative albino. These guys have been around, this particular albino's been around since the 90s. They're really popular. It's one of the snakes, just really iconic. I had to have this kind of a snake, you know.
Yep.
And finally was able to hatch one out, several years ago. The banana is fairly new, only 5 or 6, 7 years in captivity and breeding it. The albino is a simple recessive. So you guys are familiar with how that works. You're breeding heads together, or albinos to the heads, and getting more babies. The bananas and coral glows are very different. It's a first generation or a codom kind of a thing. and it's sex linked. So this is a male maker. So 90% of the babies that he produces in a Coralville are going to be male. And so it's really tough to get the females, and when you do, you get females that produce only 50-50, and then those males will produce females. So it gets really confusing, but it's a super popular mutation. Everybody loves the colors on those things.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Obviously the purples and the oranges. When you compare them, I mean, he's got red eyes. He probably would be what we call it, like a tyrosinase positive, or like a lavender kind of an albino, just not inherited in a recessive manner.
And how many of these do you have in your collection?
I just have a couple males, and I just rotate them with a few different females, and then just be able to get a handful of them every year. So.
And what would something like this sell for over here?
Well, a couple of years ago they were thousands of dollars, and this year they're
like everything when they're new.
Right. So the price has dropped a bunch. So $200 to $300 seems to be about average. But again, super popular. Everybody likes those things. Again, just the colors. It's all about the colors on that.
Oh, definitely.
Really cool critters. Easy to handle, easy to maintain, easy to breed. So really good pet snake.
What I got here looks like an Australian blind snake almost. But certainly ours don't come in colours like this. Tell us what we got here exactly.
Well, this is actually a Calabar burrowing boa, or a Calabar burrowing python. It's a type of boa from Africa. They live in the substrate and leaf litter. They're egg layers. It's a boa that lays eggs. So it's kind of different. And the eggs are huge eggs. And the head looks like the tail, kind of like a lot of snakes like that.
Like a blind snake.
Yeah, it's for the defense mechanism. These are really cool. They don't bite. They don't move very fast. But when it comes to keeping these, they don't like big food islands. They raid nests of rodents and birds. So when you go to feed them, you feed them like fuzzy mice or pinky rats. They won't eat big prey items. They're just a really cool critter. They like a little bit higher humidity. The one downside is they're just not very active. If you keep them as a pet, they're basically under the dirt all the time. But a really interesting species. Only a handful of them here at the show. It's kind of a cool, oddball kind of a snake that you don't see very often.
And many people keep these?
Not many, no. The majority of these are all wild-caught imports. They're just people have accidentally hatched eggs from gravid females and come in and grab it from Africa. There are only a couple of guys in the States that ever bred these on purpose. But just a really cool snake, kind of underappreciated. But who knows what the future holds for that. Sometimes people get excited about the oddball stuff, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. Excellent. What is it you've got there?
This is a variable king snake, or what we call a Thayeri. And it's a king snake from Mexico. And it's kind of a montane snake, so they live in kind of more montane, mountain kind of areas. And they call them variable king snakes because the pattern and color can be completely different individual to individual. And you could breed two snakes that look like this and get just wild-looking babies. Just weird, random stuff. As babies, they like to eat lizards. So they're lizard eaters as babies. And as they get bigger, they'll move on to rodents. In the wild, they'll even eat nesting birds as well. It's kind of a really cool critter. This is a full-grown male. 3 feet long or so. And you don't have to keep them on heat. They prefer to be kept a little bit cooler. So for people who don't want to have to heat an enclosure or put a lipo on, these are a lot easier, low maintenance kind of thing.
You want to touch it?
Oh, look at that. That's pretty awesome.
That's snake.
Is it okay
Like
if she...
snakes?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Put her up. What about this? You want to hold this one? Here, turn around and look at that guy at the camera.
What do you say?
Cheese.
What do you say?
She said thank you. Good job.
Put them around your neck? There you go. You know what to do.
Very gentle on the face.
Very good job.
Very gentle.
You have my snake back?
You have left an Tyler Booth.
Perfect. Thank you, sweetheart.
You say thank you.
Chris has just had me this awesome bearded lizard. It's venomous. Tell us what it does if you give you a bite.
Well, it's a little bit different than your elapids or your vipers. So the venom gland in these guys is actually in the lower jaw. You can see it's kind of puffy right there. That's where their venom gland is, in that lower jaw.
Well, then it's...
And these guys aren't very fast. So if you were to find an animal like this in the wild, it would turn around and show you its mouth. If it were to bite you and chew on you, the big teeth in the back would deliver that venom. And what the venom does, it doesn't kill you, but you swell up, there's intense pain, and it's a really good reminder to leave this guy alone. Again, they're not really fast, so in the wild these guys are eating bird eggs, nestling rodents, nestling birds. They're not fast, they can't chase down big prey. So the venom isn't used to overpower their food as it would be with, you know, a taipan or a lapid or any of the venomous snakes like that. But this is completely a defense mechanism. Now with the helodermas, the beaded lizards and the Gila monsters, the venom gland is really obvious, but they're finding that there's a lot of similar venom glands or venom structures in piranhas, the piranhas you guys have actually. And they're doing a lot of studies in the bone structure down there and finding that more often than not, more animals are venomous than we really attach. But they're really cool. These guys, you can keep them like a snake actually. They do really well in snake racks. You don't have to feed them every day, you know, once or twice a week you give them food items. They're prone to obesity, so you don't want to, you know, feed them real heavy.
Whereabouts are these found?
These are found in Mexico and in Central America.
Okay, so if I was holidaying in Mexico, if I found one in the wild, leave it alone, eh?
Yeah, and they get a lot bigger too. This is still kind of a young one. Kind of getting all squirmy there, but when they call them beaded lizards, obviously because you guys obviously can't feel it, but they have a really beaded skin. It's like little rivets or studs all over each scale. Really, really cool critters. Really cool.
And just if you're wondering about the strength in this thing, at the moment it kind of feels like a shingleback lizard that's pissed off and doesn't want to be held. And that's the sort of strength it's got in it, just wiggling around. And yeah, obviously I'm not going to put my fingers near its face or anything like that. How many of these do you have?
I just got a few of them, just a couple of them, yeah. It's more of I really like them, so it's kind of like a pet project, if you will. Just something to have for fun, and if I breed them, I breed them. If I don't, I don't. They're just a really cool species to work with, a lot of fun. It's different than the monotony of snakes. It's really cool stuff.
And for our US viewers, tell us how they can get hold of you if they want to purchase something.
If people want to get a hold of me, you can just check out my Facebook page, Sharpshooter Reptiles, on Facebook. Cheap free advertising. I do a couple of the shows in California here. I'm not a huge breeder, but I got a lot of cool, quality little stuff. So yeah.
No worries. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.